those are elements that they took from, but then it's its own thing. So it's kind of like it's hard, like I say, to talk about until you spend some time with it. I think those are all touchstones, and there's elements of all those games in them, but it kind of becomes its own thing once they're all mashed together in a Ooblets way. Yeah. And
is that like a mushroom companion that's following you?
Yeah, so that's one of our Ooblets. So when you start, you get to decide like which Ooblet house you're in, and she's part of kind of more an adventuresome Ooblet house, and that's her starting Ooblet, Shrumbo. But there are dozens of Ooblets throughout the game that you'll be able to find and train and level up, and they have hats and costumes too. So you know everything's.
Just so you guys know, when my laptop decided to crash on me again,
she's more of an adventure Ooblets player. Is that,
so
is that
I apologize for that.
That you keep with you, or do you have to define your player character as a certain type?
Yeah, ultimately you're gonna try and collect them all. So I think it's just kind of the vibe
Assassin's
you
Creed
want to put
Odyssey,
into the game
October
where you start.
5th.
There's the adventurer house.
Later
but there's
this
also
year,
kind of
in fact.
Cute flowery house. There's kind of an emo house, and there's more
PC
of like a
gaming
tech-savvy, nerdy house too. So it's just kind of like when you pick that, you pick your starting statistics. They all have different kind of like bonuses, and they all have different starting.
It's gonna be interesting to see what we do.
There's Ooblets all over the world.
In regards to
was it a choice
biscuits?
to make the character run like she was blowing in the wind, or her head was super heavy or something? Because it's a charming way to run, but it's definitely noticeable that it's like the head back. Like
it's like a full opposite Naruto. Like.
Yeah, everything's very charming in the game, and that all comes from Ben and Rebecca. So the two people who made this live in New Hampshire together and are working on this in their house, and they have a mocap rib. So everything in the game is just like them mocapping the runs, or a lot of dancing in this game. There's a lot of dancing. But yeah, we're actually about to show a new trailer off in the PC Gaming Show right after this. So people should look out for that, and we'll be talking about new mechanics there and a whole new trailer. So
excellent, man.
Looking good.
Well, thank you very much for showing off all these games. You can see more of Ooblets in the PC Gaming Show, which is coming up here in like less than 2 minutes. So I look forward to seeing it. Double Fine. What's the website we can look at?
Presents.doublefine.com has all of these games, and then they all have their own websites, and they're all very active on social media and stuff too. So I'd say to track them down on Twitter.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for being here and showing them off. We're going to go right to the PC Gaming Show, so let's go.
So, just so you guys know, Dan is going to be joining me for Sony's conference at 2 AM. But until then, I'm going solo once again. So here we go, final countdown. It wouldn't surprise me if they paid tribute to Total Biscuit, because that's my prediction for the PC Gaming Show.
There is magic in PC gaming. It says, don't just obey the rules, rewrite them. It says, don't just listen to stories, inhabit them. It says, don't just accept the limits, overclock beyond them. It says, don't just play games, revel in them, unleash them. It says, seriously, is every game Battle Royale now? Or is it just me? From mountaintops to dungeons, from deep waters to deeper space. From solo quests to mass engagements, there is magic in PC gaming. Let's celebrate that magic together. This is the PC Gaming Show. And now your host, Sean Plott.
Oh, hello to everyone online. Hello to everyone at the Will Turn. Welcome to the PC Gaming Show.
I like his enthusiasm.
Yes. My name's Dana, and I'm your host today. I am delighted to be here. We have a fantastic show for you this afternoon. First, to all of you who came out to the Will Turn, thanks for joining us. The Will Turn is just a beautiful venue here in Los Angeles. To all of you online on Twitch, thanks for joining us. To those co-streaming partners, hey as well, I'm talking to you, Dropped Frames, great to have you here. And of course, to all the wonderful sponsors that help make the PC Gaming Show come back again for the 4th straight year. Now, good on you. Now, I'm not the only host here this year. I have my co-op partner up in the balcony. It's Frankie Ward joining us today. How's it going, Frankie?
Hey, Sean. I'm going to be up here in the balcony with a bunch of creative new PC games coming your way. From Warfare's latest update to some offbeat indie gems.
Frankie, we are so excited for the show to get started. We have over 30 games we're going to be looking at across the next 90 minutes.
Cool.
So let's get it underway. Our very first title is from Coffee Stain Studios. Their game has absolutely massive construction as well as automation. Let's take a look at Satisfactory.
This stuff is very intriguing. And I'm not a PC gamer myself. I prefer my consoles.
Joining me on the stage to talk about it is the game director at Coffee Stain Studios. It's Oscar Gilsain. Come here, Oscar. Welcome to the stage. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Now, Oscar, I just want to begin right away by asking, what is Satisfactory all about?
Satisfactory is essentially about building these huge automated factories. So you play as an engineer that's been sent from Earth to this alien planet, and you're going to build this enormous machine. It was hinted at the end of the trailer there.
Yeah.
And to build that, you need a whole ton of parts, which you need to build machines that will make them for you. So you'll start out pretty simple with a few machines, and then you'll just expand and expand and expand until you finally need to start cutting down trees and replace them with like more convenient concrete.
And you know, for people who haven't played this type of game, can you give me an example of what producing a more advanced resource might look like?
Right. After a while, you'll need to create something more advanced, like a computer, for example. And at that point, you'll have some copper stuff set up, wires and cables. But to make plastic, you need to get some oil. So you need to go out and find this oil, build some oil pumps and oil refineries, and set up a transport with self-driving vehicles between the outpost and your factory.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that scale because there's a lot of games where you build a house or a small town. How much area are we talking about where all your factories will exist?
Oh, this factory will grow enormous. The main part, which will probably be the biggest, will start spreading more and more and more. Or in some cases, we've had players just building these massive, tall buildings with factory floor upon factory floor. But including the resources that you need to gather from basically all around the map.
Yeah.
So you'll have vehicles driving all over.
Now, I want to ask about the first-person perspective, because these types of games typically are top-down. Why first-person?
We wanted it to feel like the player's the one building the stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, when you've built a bunch of stuff, you can see these enormous buildings, structures towering above you. But also when you go out and explore, you'll be the one, like, you go through the underbrush and in the jungles and whatever.
I mean, in the trailer, it even looked like there's a lot more to explore, like different environments and biomes.
Yeah, yeah. The map is, we made a point to make it big and varied.
Yeah.
And it's about 30 square kilometers in size, so it's kind of enormous.
Wow. You know, one final question. I saw multiple engineers there. How does multiplayer work?
Oh, it's a co-op game. So you'll start up a server and play with your friends.
Great. Now, tell us, how do we get our hands on this game?
So we got a closed alpha planned in the coming months. So you can sign up for the alpha at satisfactorygame.com. And yeah, then you'll know.
Well, great. Oscar, thanks for joining me on stage once again. That is satisfactorygame.com. Now, up in the balcony, Frankie, I understand you have our very first indie title of the day.
We do indeed, Sean, because here's something we love about the PC platform. It's such fertile ground for creative ideas from small teams. NeoCab is an emotional survival game set in the future about gig labor, tech disruption, and the experience of being a driver for hire. Perhaps the last of your kind. From the brand new indie studio Chance Agency, let's watch the first gameplay trailer for NeoCab.
Now, our next game, believe it or not, is in the Battle Royale genre. Of course,
yay, more Battle Royale.
We have several Battle Royale games we're going to be talking about today because the Battle Royale format is very simple and very flexible. Players play in an ever-shrinking space until there's one last standing. So developers have already been doing all kinds of different explorations of what this could possibly be. And our very first Battle Royale game that we'll be introducing today has up to 1,000 concurrent players. It's from Automaton Games. Let's look at Maverick's Proving Grounds.
Yeah, because PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds would rather sue Fortnite than something as small as this. Seriously? Seriously, PUBG? You really want to try and risk your own reputation? Ooh. Oh. impressive.
Joining me on the stage to talk about Maverick's Proving Grounds is the CEO of Automaton Games. It's James Thompson. James, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Now, I want to immediately ask, what about Maverick's Proving Grounds distinguishes itself from other Battle Royale games?
Yeah, well, as you said, it's a very popular formula, and you know that last man standing kind of game type is incredibly compelling by itself. But Mavericks is really about depth. You know, we've already talked about 400 players before, and we're sort of super excited today to talk about our 5-man squad mode being 1,000 players. But really, it's about depth as well. It's about the fact that that environment is even a bigger step, the simulation and those elements sort of combining together.
Yeah, I want to zoom in right on the 1,000 players aspect. How does that really shift the dynamic from the, say, 100 that we're typically used to?
Well, it's really about combining scale with the depth of simulation, so the fact that together what you actually have is a landscape that means you're making decisions off a lot more information.
Yeah, I mean, because you hinted at that twice now. Like, what do you mean by there's a lot more information in the environment for players to process?
So take a concrete example, right? So let's say a player's walking through the map, they'll be leaving footprints, they'll be displacing foliage, like grass bending. But you know, siege-style gameplay in houses, that's like a lot of destruction systems that sort of together make the map much more of a dynamic environment.
It's like a recent history of who could have been here.
Yeah.
You know, I want to ask about what more is in store for Maverick's Proving Grounds. I understand that this has a lot more out-game features than someone might expect.
Yeah, so it's not just that session-based gameplay. You enter the game through the Capital, which is our sort of persistent social hub. So we draw from the MMORPG side of things. It's really it's a full world, not just a map. You know, so it's got a persistent game type side to it too. Yeah. But really, it's about bringing this all together into something which makes a much richer MMO experience.
Now, where can people go to find out more?
Well, we've just launched our site right now, so if you're interested in signing up for the closed beta, you can do that now at mavericks.gg/closed-beta. And actually, if you're registered this week, you'll get special in-game content for free from E3.
Well, awesome.
And we have only 100,000 slots for the first group signing up, so that will give you some beta access, but I'm sure there are a lot more people than that on the stream, so quickly do that if you're interested in.
Well, James, thanks so much for joining us. Once again, that's maverick.gg. Our very next game helps showcase the extraordinary power of modders. Frankie, tell us about it.
It does indeed, Sean. On PC, we don't just play what's given to us. We mod games to make our own experiences. And for many developers, modding is a way to turn a hobby into a career. The Forgotten City is the perfect example. It's a standalone game that's a reimagining of a wildly successful mod. In fact, the first mod in history to win a National Writers Guild Award. For the first time ever. Here's gameplay from the Forgotten City.
I'm so sorry you had to find me like this. And worse, that you'll suffer the same fate I did. I've spent a lifetime in this place. An ancient underground city. Its existence long forgotten. Searching for a way out. All I found is a window into the past. If even one person here commits a sin, everyone will die. I tried to set things right, but whatever I did, it took me right back to the beginning. It's all up to you now. Go back, investigate, talk to everyone, help them out if it'll win their trust. Bend the rules as far as you can. Figure out who's responsible for this, and maybe you can do what I never could. Save these people. Save yourself.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. Coming up on the PC Gaming Show, what's next for Killing Floor 2? And an unannounced game from Tripwire Interactive. And now your host, Sean Plott.
Our next game is a blast from the past. It's not a sequel or prequel or remake, but rather an entirely new game altogether. Let's take a look at Stardock's Star Control Origins.
Long ago, the Singularity formed, its creators uplifted into something beyond our understanding. These beings, now known as the Lexites, left Earth, traveling to multiple planets in our solar system, before vanishing altogether. This is why we are here. Welcome to Star Control, a state-of-the-art international space agency tasked with the exploration of our solar system and the defense of Earth. Here resides the world's brightest minds and greatest technology, brought together by a strong curiosity to discover the unknown. Help us pioneer the future. Join today.
Star Control has accelerated the construction of our new modular deep solar system vessel specifically for this mission. It's the fastest, most expensive ship humanity has ever made, Captain.
I am Chief Viscosity Officer Windu of the Taiwan. The Scribe have evidently received traces of your radio broadcasts themselves.
You must be humans. We've heard so much about you.
Joining me to talk about Star Control is the director of production at Stardock, Patrick Shaw. Thanks for joining me on stage today, Patrick.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
So now just tell us straight up, what is Star Control all about?
So Star Control is an open universe action RPG. You can visit dozens of aliens, hundreds of different stars, thousands of different unique planets, and you can land on each and every one of them. And when you're driving around the planets, you can jump over canyons, blast critters, and then you can venture out into the solar system and do ship-to-ship combat with hostile aliens.
And I want to ask, since I know that the story is a big part of this game, with it being open world, how do you make sure that the story still stays as the focus for the player?
Yeah, so we're really excited about the story that we prepared for Star Control. It's funny, it's creative, but also has some dark, sinister side to it. However, what we're very proud and very excited about is we have an infinite universe. That is, we are fully simulating the entire universe at all times. So even if you're on some podunk little moon in the corner of the universe, the aliens are still moving around the universe, doing their own thing, exploring and interacting with each other.
So it's not just like at a planet there's the same town whenever you visit it. It depends on how the simulation has driven it forward.
Right, exactly. So this infinite universe is the glue that connects my story, my adventure, to the larger open galaxy.
That's awesome. Now, I know modding is going to be a big part of Star Control Origins. How does modding work?
So what's your favorite science fiction show?
Probably Firefly.
Yeah, so what would you think of making Firefly Season 2?
Shit, that's a lot of pressure, Patrick.
Well,
you're putting me on the spot on stage right now, yeah.
We have a week to do it, so. But anyways, in Star Control Origins, you can create your own ships, your own planets, your own galaxies. You can package up your adventures and share them with your friends online.
So someone else can take care of Firefly Season 2. That's up to you. Now, last thing I want to ask about is how multiplayer works.
Right. So in the game, we have ship-to-ship combat, and that turned out to be so popular in our early testing. They're like, we should make this a separate gameplay mode. So we did. We called it Fleet Battles. So you can create your own ships, you build them out of different pieces and parts, you attach different weapons and defenses, and then you go online to play them. You can either play local multiplayer, 2 people on the same machine, or online, ranked online play.
Where can people go to pick up Star Control Origins?
Well, right now, Star Control Origins is available for pre-order on GOG and Steam.
Well, lovely. Guys, definitely be sure to head over to starcontrolgame.com and check them out on Steam and GOG as well.
And one more thing, we are happy to announce at the PC Gamer Show that Star Control Origins is launching on September 20th, 2018.
Look for it on September 20th.
September 20th.
Now, our next game was PC Gamer's favorite game from E3 last year. It is Hunt Showdown from Crytek. Let's take a look at what's coming for Hunt Showdown just after E3.
I am here with Guy from Skydance, who's here to tell me why fighting in massive mech suits is not about to go out of fashion anytime soon. Guy, now Hellfire, in fact, sorry, Archangel was originally a single-player narrative game, but Hellfire, this new edition, what changes is that going to make?
Well, players really loved the single-player narrative, but they all kept telling us the same thing. They said, we really want it multiplayer, and we want it off-rails. And we kind of thought, that's a completely different game, but let's give it a shot. And so we got a crack team together. They put something really special. We got 4 maps, we got 6 different mechs, tons of weapons where you could just blast through the environment and other mechs alike. And it's really just an amazing experience. You can zip around in your mech, you can tower over others. It's just something special that I think you can try right now.
Is this coming out of early access? So you just said we can try it right now, but you've got the full version launching soon, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's coming out in July 17th. But you can try it right now if you want an early access. Help us iron out the kinks and break some mechs along the process.
I am no good at ironing out kinks, as I think people at home can see, Guy, but as a heavy mech woman, I can't wait for you to be my light mech wingman in that 2v2 PvP. So let's take a closer look at Archangel Hellfire.
Let's do it.
Our next title is one I've been looking forward to for quite some time. It's from the makers of Sherlock Holmes, and it's a delightful looking Lovecraftian mystery. It's called The Sinking City, and joining me to talk about it is the community manager at Frogwares, Sergey Oganessian. Welcome, Sergey. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've earned a handshake.
Yeah, you nailed that pronunciation.
I love that you lie to me so kindly. You know, I want to ask right away, The Sinking City, you know, there's a lot of open world, third-person type games. What makes The Sinking City different from what a player might expect?
Well, I mean, The Sinking City is an open world action investigation game inspired by Lovecraft. And we believe that these 3 elements already make the game pretty unique. And you know, when I say that you can be a detective in a world, in a supernatural world full of mystery and, you know, cosmic fear, like, I really mean it, because investigations are really at the core of The Sinking City.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of games in the open world genre that are focused on action, but you say investigation is at the core. What are investigation mechanics? What does it look like?
So the first thing you should know right off the bat is that we are not going to offer any hand-holding for the player. We will not give you any clear objectives in your diary or, you know, markers on the map telling you where to go or what to do. It's actually up to you to figure that out. Instead, we will give you information, you know, hints, evidence, like clues, crime scenes to examine, like people to talk to, suspects to question. And we will ask you in return to use your wits and your intuition to, you know, experiment with your findings, you know, maybe like find a way how to progress. And what you should also know is that finding these clues will not only help you understand what's going on, and get a better understanding of the world and its people, but it will also help you maybe change the course of your investigation.
You mentioned the world itself, and I mean, the footage that I've seen through the years has just been absolutely beautiful. Talk to me about the world that we're in and what investigation is at the core.
So the game takes place in this fictional city of Oakmont in the state of Massachusetts. The city which is flooded. There is a terrible disaster going on which has claimed like thousands of lives, and also like it seems like it awakened frightening monsters which now roam the streets of Oakmont. People that live in the city, they are very different, like different social classes, gangs, cultists, poor people, rich people, but they are all united by fear. They're all afraid, maybe except for the cultists, of course. They're all afraid that, for their lives because of the flood, because of the monsters. And we actually want to understand what's going on. We want to understand what lies behind this ostensibly supernatural flood. And what's even funny is that while everybody is afraid, nobody wants to leave. But this is kind of a different story.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've talked a little bit about the story world and how it's inspired by Lovecraft. What about the game mechanics? You've mentioned the sanity mechanic in the past.
Indeed, we do have a sanity mechanic which directly impacts gameplay. When our hero is under a lot of stress, when he sees like something supernatural, something disturbing, or even when he's making choices in the story which he's not comfortable with making, he will begin to lose his sanity. He will start to have hallucinations, he will start to hear distorted sounds, which will allow the player to understand that something is actually going wrong. Maybe we need to, step back and do something about that. As of right now, we're still fine-tuning this mechanic because we are still looking, for this sweet spot between impact on the gameplay and impact on the story.
Since we're almost out of time, I still just have to ask, what are the sweet monsters that we're going to get to see in the game?
Oh, we have different kinds of monsters. We have different kinds of archetypes, with different abilities. And, we actually give you tools. The game is not about fighting monsters. Investigation is the core of the game. But we give you tools to defend yourself. So we give you weapons, we give you skills, we give you even certain, like, traps. In return, we ask you that you make a decision, because the game is about making a decision. Ammunition is scarce, and you will have to adjust your tactics accordingly.
So, I know a lot of people have all sorts of questions about what the game is like. Where can they go to find out more information?
So if you're hungry for more, you can always follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. This is where we post our updates regularly. Facebook, The Sinking City Game, YouTube, Frogwares. So go there, and this is definitely the place to go if you want to learn more.
Well, I'm super excited personally to see how it turns out. Thanks for joining me on stage, Sergey. The Sinking City. Now, our next game is a PC title that has only gotten better over the last few years, and I'm always excited to hear what they have in store. Frankie is up on the balcony with the developers of Warframe. Talk to me, Frankie.
Well, we all know the PC is home to some of the most devoted communities in gaming, and one of the best undoubtedly belongs to Warframe. Last year, the game got its first open-world update, Plains of Eidolon, and the next epic cinematic quest is called The Sacrifice. And we've got the exclusive launch trailer for you. Megan Everett, Community Manager at Digital Extremes, joins me now. Megan, tell me more about The Sacrifice.
So The Sacrifice is the latest installment of our cinematic quests. It continues a story that we started in The Second Dream, continued with The War Within, and then Apostasy Prologue. So at the end of last year, we kind of shattered some hearts and left them with a bit of a plot twist, and I'm not going to spoil it for people who want to maybe catch up. But what I can say is that, obviously from the trailer that you saw, the wait for Umbra, the 3-year wait to the Umbra Warframe is finally over. The creepy guy at the end of the trailer there, Ballas, plays a pretty big role in this quest. And again, not going to spoil a lot, but I can say that it's coming this week on PC.
And you guys are actually currently waiting, well, as well as the update, you're working towards TennoCon right now.
Yes, so it's going to be another big year for us, and I'm really excited for it.
Well, let's take a look at last year's event to get an idea of what TennoCon is all about.
What do you think the mega reveal at Tenno Live is going to be?
Can you tell me anything about this Umbra thing that's maybe going on or whatever?
amazing. Like, it's a whole new direction for Warframe and all this. You got all these other games coming out, but this one's free.
When's 2018 happening?
Get it started.
Given that the community knows you as Auntie Megan,
oh God,
it must be huge for you to be at TennoCon.
TennoCon is really special for really everyone that works at Digital Extremes. The developers pour their heart and soul into what we do for TennoCon, and I know for me it was literally like the best day of my entire career. I know Rebecca, our community director at home, is watching. But last year when we did the Plains of Eidolon, open world expansion reveal, Rev and I were actually doing that as a live demonstration in front of everyone, and we had practiced it for months, and it went as flawlessly as we could have ever hoped for. And we actually, as people were cheering, it's pitch black on stage. Rev and I look at each other and we just kind of fist pump and both started crying because we didn't crash the demonstration. So if you watch Tenno Live this year, if you're there, you can definitely probably count on some tears and some emotions because it's a really big day for us.
So basically, bring tissues, right?
Bring tissues for yourself, for me, for everyone involved, because there will be some tears probably.
But if you can't get to TennoCon because unfortunately it is sold out, how can you watch it online?
So on twitch.tv/Warframe, you can definitely check it out. And PC Gamer is also hosting as well on their Facebook and Twitter.
And you get free stuff by watching Twitch?
You do. So if you want to link your Warframe account to your Twitch account, and all you have to do is watch and you get some free stuff.
Fantastic. So that's happening from July 7th, and you'll be able to watch TennoCon live through PC Gamer's Twitch channel and the Facebook page. Thank you, Auntie Megs. Sean, it's over to you.
Thank you, Frankie, and thank you, Warframe. The next name is one I grew up with, Sega. They've become a prolific publisher of Japanese games known for their fully featured ports, especially beloved by this guy on the left.